associate's name in federal PED investigation story that just recently came out, and it's got a lot of people saying, is LeBron doing GH? Is he on growth hormone? Is this the Lance Armstrong story that's about to come out, and they're going to strip him of all these different accolades that he has?
The world understood what LeBron did. Like, other basketball players will hear what LeBron does and go, well, yeah, but that doesn't matter, right? It's like a baseball player. You're hitting a stick out of the way. It doesn't matter. It's like, no. If you knew what these performance enhancers did, then you would know why it does matter. There's only one. We have the same drug guy, if you will. I know exactly what he's doing.
Bronny get a bucket on Braun right now? Yeah, he can get a bucket on Braun right now. Nope. Yeah, he can get a bucket. No way. Nope. Man, come on. That little dude is explosive, bro. He is, but you seen his dad? His dad on that balcony. He on that new juice.
If you thought you'd seen it all, think again. Because tonight, the so-called king of basketball might just have been caught in the biggest scandal of his career. This is Spill News, where secrets explode before your eyes. When Chael Sonnen went live and said, "I know what LeBron's on," the internet didn't blink, it detonated. Within hours, that one line spiraled into millions of views, reaction videos, and fan theories. Because let's be honest, when a fighter with a known history of PD suspension starts talking about LeBron James, the whispers start sounding like proof. Is the NBA's golden boy hiding something? Did the league cover it up for years to protect its biggest moneymaker? And most importantly, if you were in his shoes, sitting on $1 billion legacy with a global image built on greatness, would you risk it all for a chemical edge? The internet couldn't believe it, and you won't either. Because what Chael hinted at might not just destroy LeBron's image. It could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the NBA itself. Let's break it all down. And trust me, it gets uglier. It all started with one reckless sentence. One podcast clip that no one took seriously until they did. When Chael Sonnen leaned into that mic and said, "I know what LeBron's on," the hosts laughed it off. They thought it was another Chael moment. You know, the usual sarcasm and self-promotion. But what they didn't know was that he wasn't joking this time. The internet didn't wait for context. Within hours, Twitter threads turned into investigative reports. TikToks became mini documentaries, and fans started playing detective. Clips of LeBron James's insane recovery routines flooded timelines. Cryotherapy chambers, hyperbaric pods, $1 million chefs, and that infamous Zero Dark 30-23 training season that everyone used to admire. Suddenly, admiration turned into suspicion. Because here's the thing, Chael Sonnen isn't some random YouTuber. He's a former UFC fighter who's been banned, fined, and drug tested more times than he can count. He knows the game. He knows the system. And when he said, "I've seen that formula before," everyone froze. Was he implying LeBron's training regimen wasn't as clean as fans believed? A Reddit post appeared hours later from an anonymous account called LabZorce23. It claimed that a high-profile athlete in California had been linked to an experimental recovery enhancement blend, codenamed Project King. No direct proof, no names, just a few blurry screenshots of supposed lab memos and initials that suspiciously matched LeBron's. The document was quickly deleted, but not before thousands took screenshots. And just like that, the NBA's biggest name was at the center of something even ESPN wouldn't touch. Sports journalists tried to ignore it, calling it internet noise. But fans weren't buying it. Old clips resurfaced. LeBron running up mountains at 38 like he was still 25, sprinting faster than rookies, never missing a single postseason game. People started asking the one question no one had dared to ask before. Is LeBron human? Meanwhile, Chael doubled down. In another podcast appearance, he smirked and said, "Listen, I've been in locker rooms. I've seen things. You don't stay that explosive at that age without a little help." The host laughed nervously, but the internet didn't. Within minutes, hashtag Sonnen versus LeBron was trending, and clips of Chael's smirk hit 10 million views overnight. Fans split into two camps, the believers and the defenders. The believers claimed the evidence was right there. LeBron's medical staff constantly changing, his mysterious off-season trips to Europe, and that unconfirmed photo from 2019 showing him entering a private clinic in Monaco. The defenders fired back, saying the hate came from jealousy, that LeBron's discipline, not drugs, kept him dominant. But here's where things turned wild. A supposed insider, allegedly someone close to LeBron's old Miami circle, leaked an audio clip to a gossip page called Locker Room Leaks. In the clip, a voice that sounded eerily like one of LeBron's trainers could be heard saying, "Keep it off the books. We're running the King protocol again." The post hit 5 million views before Instagram took it down for privacy violations. By then, the story had spiraled beyond control. ESPN ignored it, Fox Sports hinted at it, and YouTube, it exploded. Creators built timelines, fake charts, and even animation recreations of what Project King might look like. Every time LeBron posted something, a workout video, a motivational quote, the comments were flooded. "Which vial today, King?" Or "Show us the test results." The silence from LeBron's camp only made it worse. No denial, no statement, no lawyer threatening a lawsuit, just silence. It's the kind of silence that feels louder than a confession. But then something strange happened. A blog called Courtside Insider published what they claimed was a private email between two high-level NBA executives discussing containment. The email said, "If this surfaces, it could damage the brand. Keep monitoring the athlete. Do not respond publicly." Was it real? Nobody knew. But once screenshots went viral, truth didn't matter anymore. The narrative had already been written. LeBron, the unbreakable athlete. LeBron, the example of longevity. LeBron, the alleged cheater. And through all of this, Chael Sonnen didn't backtrack. Not once. He was loving it. He went on another show and casually dropped, "I'm not saying names. I'm just saying when your body performs miracles, there's usually chemistry involved." Boom. Another million views. Another storm. What people forgot was that Chael himself had been suspended for using banned substances. So when fans pointed that out, he flipped it around perfectly. "Exactly. I know what I'm talking about." It was villain marketing 101, and it worked. But beneath all the noise, something real might have been happening. A former sports lab employee anonymously emailed Bleacher Wire, saying there was a private athlete test that never reached the official records. High testosterone levels. No follow-up testing requested. They refused to name names, but in the subject line they wrote, "King confirmed." That's when the mainstream started paying attention. CNN did a 1-minute segment on unverified reports. Sports analysts suddenly became body language experts, replaying LeBron's interviews to find guilt in his smiles. One even said, "He's blinking faster when asked about recovery. That's a classic tell." And LeBron? He acted like nothing happened. No response, no mention, no shade thrown. He played his games, posted his workouts, and dropped cryptic lines like, "They can't destroy what they didn't build." His followers loved it. His haters screenshot it. Every sentence became a clue. Then came the alleged wellness shipment. TMZ claimed they intercepted a delivery invoice to one of LeBron's training facilities in Brentwood. The item? Specialized metabolic recovery compound. Human use only. No confirmation, no denial, just that TMZ watermark burning through every feed on social media. At this point, the story had taken on a life of its own. Nobody knew what was true anymore. The fake mixed with the real so perfectly that even experts couldn't separate them. That's the beauty and the curse of scandal. Because behind every rumor, there's a fragment of something real. And that's what keeps people watching. But if you thought this was just social media chaos, you're wrong. Because the next move didn't come from LeBron. It came from someone close to him. Someone fans didn't even know existed. And what came next, even his enemies didn't expect. The next morning, everything changed. A small sports gossip page called Athlete Underground posted what they claimed was a 12-second voice memo from someone inside LeBron's medical circle. The clip wasn't crystal clear. It sounded like it was recorded from a pocket during a phone call. But the words? They sent the internet into meltdown. A man's voice, older, confident, maybe a doctor, said, "We told him to stop 3 weeks ago. His levels are already off the charts." Then the line cut off. No names, no context, just chaos. But the caption under the leak read, "This is the King Protocol." And that's when hashtags like hashtag King Protocol leaked, hashtag NBA hiding test, and hashtag LeBron Files blew up. Twitter was pure fire. TikTok detectives started piecing together a timeline of LeBron's suspicious absences. Remember that time he took 2 weeks off during the Lakers slump? Or where he said he was focusing on his body after skipping a national event. Suddenly, every old headline became evidence. Chael Sonnen, of course, poured gasoline on the flames. He posted a selfie on X Twitter, smirking with the caption, "Told ya, they can't hide the blood." No names, no direct mention, but everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. Within an hour, the post crossed 2 million impressions. Meanwhile, ESPN was pretending none of this was happening. No mention on air, no tweet, no article. That silence was deafening, and it only made fans believe it more. You know the rule. When big media stays quiet, the internet gets louder. By the next day, insiders were popping up everywhere. A supposed ex-employee of a Beverly Hills recovery clinic claimed she saw LeBron's private trainer pick up restricted vials from a shipment labeled Athlete Recovery Formula 7X. She posted a blurred photo of a delivery form with the initials LJ scribbled at the bottom. Was it real? No one knew. Did anyone care? Absolutely not. People don't need proof when a lie feels better than the truth. Meanwhile, LeBron's PR team went into overdrive. The Lakers media rep released a carefully worded statement saying, LeBron James maintains a rigorous and transparent fitness routine. Any speculation about performance-enhancing substances is entirely false. But you know how the internet works. Transparent was the wrong word to use. It made people think, transparent about what? Then a fake tweet started circulating, allegedly from WJ, the NBA insider. It read, hearing unconfirmed talk that league compliance is revisiting certain medical clearances. The tweet was fake, but it didn't matter. People screenshotted it faster than it could be debunked. And Chael, he wasn't done. On another podcast appearance, he leaned back in his chair, laughed, and said, "You can't fool me with recovery smoothies. I know HGH when I see it. I've been there. I've done that. And I'm telling you, that man ain't clean." The host's jaw dropped. "You're saying LeBron James," Chael interrupted. "I didn't say his name." "You did." Boom. Another viral moment. But now, this wasn't just an internet story. The NBA's integrity was on the line. Commentators whisper about private meetings, crisis PR plans, and a quiet review of testing policies. Nobody said LeBron's name publicly, but every headline used the same phrase, high-profile athlete under scrutiny. Then came the leaked report. A blurry PDF hit Reddit, allegedly from a private lab partner affiliated with league testing. The file listed hormone levels, code names, and redacted initials. Next to athlete, KNG23, there was a handwritten note. Follow-up test delayed. That was all it took. Fans lost it. KNG23, who else could that possibly be? One comment went viral. Bro, we used to think LeBron was a superhero. Turns out he's just a lab experiment. Another said, if this is true, the whole GOAT debate is dead. By now, even retired players started chiming in. One former teammate tweeted, "Some of y'all will believe anything. That man been great since high school." But then another player, who trained with LeBron in 2018, cryptically tweeted, "Ain't my business, but them injections weren't vitamins." That tweet vanished within an hour, but screenshots were already everywhere. The fire spread internationally. European tabloids were calling it basketball's biggest cover-up. ESPN analysts looked uncomfortable even mentioning it. Sports podcasts started debating whether the NBA would quietly protect its most valuable player, because a scandal this size could cost billions. And then out of nowhere, the Wellness Summit leak happened. A YouTuber named The Real Hoop Leaks posted what looked like a PowerPoint slide from a presentation labeled Elite Athlete Maintenance Protocol Confidential. The document mentioned microdosing schedules, oxygen therapy, and something called Stabilizer Compound V3. The slide had one shocking phrase circled in red, "Used successfully in King case." The video got 3 million views in one night before being taken down due to copyright. But the internet doesn't forget. Screenshots flooded Reddit, TikTok, and Telegram. Suddenly, everyone was saying the same thing. The King case equals LeBron James. And Chael Sonnen? He leaned all the way in. He tweeted, "They thought I was lying. Now they're deleting slides." At this point, LeBron couldn't ignore it anymore. Reporters cornered him after a game, asking if he had any response to the rumors. He smiled calmly and said, "Y'all really believe everything you read on the internet? I'm the most tested athlete in the world." Then he walked away. The clip went viral, but not for the reason he hoped. People zoomed in on his expression, analyzing every blink, every smirk. Conspiracy channels slowed it down, captioning frames with lines like, "Notice how he laughs before denying," classic guilt deflection. Meanwhile, the NBA Players Association released a statement defending him, calling the rumors baseless and slanderous. But fans noticed the wording. They said rumors, not evidence. That difference turned into a meme. If there's no evidence, why are they defending him so fast? Behind closed doors, things got tense. According to a source quoted by Inside Hoops Daily, multiple executives were pushing for a quiet third-party review, not to punish LeBron, but to protect the brand. One exec allegedly said, "If the king falls, the castle crumbles." But the real blow came from someone unexpected, a former friend, an ex-assistant from LeBron's early career, who disappeared from the spotlight, suddenly reappeared on a small podcast claiming he'd seen some things. He said, "Back then, they called it recovery therapy, but I saw stuff in those bags that wasn't Gatorade." When asked if he'd name names, he said, "If I do, I'll have lawyers outside my door tomorrow morning." That was the moment everyone realized this story wasn't dying down. It was evolving. It had gone from rumor to global obsession. Every tweet, every interview, every silence became a clue. People were convinced something massive was being covered up. And then, one night, a new document surfaced, something that would push the scandal beyond gossip. An image allegedly from a private NBA medical archive. It showed a test form with a partially redacted name, James L., and a stamp that read, "Results pending, confidential." No one knew if it was real, but once it hit social media, it didn't matter. Because when you mix silence, ego, and the internet, you don't get truth, you get a wildfire. And this wildfire was just getting started, because the next person to step forward wasn't Chael. It wasn't a fan. It was someone inside the system, someone with access. And what they revealed next made everything before look like child's play. It dropped at midnight, like all real scandals do. A whistleblower file titled NBA Internal. Confidential Substance Reports, 2018 to 2024, appeared on a hacker forum known for political leaks. The file wasn't fancy, just a string of scanned documents with blurred stamps, mismatched fonts, and one red flag page labeled Athlete, KNG_0023, irregularity noted. Within minutes, screenshots spread across Reddit, Telegram, and YouTube community posts. A few digital forensics accounts claimed the metadata on the document traced back to a laptop registered under an NBA subcontractor, a testing lab used for elite athlete performance analysis. Translation: it looked way too real to be fake. Inside that file was a series of coded notes that seemed harmless until you read them line by line. Mentions of microdosing intervals, rapid recovery injections, and compliance delays painted a picture that nobody wanted to believe. And the name King appeared 4 times. One line read, "Sample irregularities consistent with King protocol pattern. Recommend suppression for brand integrity." The internet went nuclear. For the first time, even mainstream news couldn't ignore it. CNN ran a 2-minute developing story segment titled, "Unverified LeBron James Doping Claims Flood Social Media." ESPN finally broke its silence with a careful headline. LeBron responds to Chael Sonnen controversy. "I don't need enhancements." That clip was supposed to calm things down. But when LeBron finally spoke, calm, calculated, his face tight with irritation, the internet did what it always does. It dissected every frame. He said, "I've worked for everything I've got. I don't need anything fake to be great." And in the next breath, he smirked. Just slightly. That half-second expression became a meme, dissected by every conspiracy page on TikTok. See that grin? One user posted. That's not confidence. That's panic. Chael Sonnen, of course, couldn't resist. He quote-tweeted the video with, "Imagine being clean and still sweating bullets. Couldn't be me." That post alone pulled over 5 million impressions in 6 hours. By morning, the NBA was in full-blown PR lockdown. Journalists started reporting that sources close to the league had confirmed private meetings between team owners and the commissioner. One insider leaked that a special damage assessment board had been formed, not to investigate the claims, but to contain them. The word contain changed everything. It was no longer about whether LeBron did it. It was about what the league knew and how long they'd known it. Meanwhile, fans were split right down the middle. One side said it was all hate, that Chael Sonnen was trying to stay relevant by throwing dirt on the NBA's biggest name. The other side was convinced LeBron's silence was proof of guilt. The debate turned toxic. People were doxing each other over whether a basketball player used PEDs. Then the bombshell hit. A former NBA lab technician went on a live stream under a blurred face filter. Her voice distorted, her tone shaky. She said she'd seen priority samples being marked differently from others. Some tests were delayed, she whispered. Some were replaced. There were names we were told not to flag, especially if they started with K. The stream was deleted within 20 minutes, but not before screen recording spread like wildfire. And that's when LeBron vanished. For 3 days, no posts, no press, no tweets. The Lakers held closed practices. TMZ caught a few photos of him leaving a Beverly Hills clinic at 2 a.m., face covered, hoodie up. That picture alone got 30 million views in a day. The caption read, "Still think he's clean?" Meanwhile, Chael Sonnen doubled down again on his YouTube channel. He said, "I didn't want to be right, but y'all better start asking why the league hasn't shown the test results." He even pulled out a folder on camera, a prop maybe, and tapped it like it contained the Holy Grail. "This right here," he said, "could end careers." Viewers lost their minds. Comments flooded and dropped the files. Show the receipts. Expose them already. But that's when something unexpected happened. The narrative flipped. A new anonymous user, King Witness Reel, started posting screenshots of what looked like emails between Chael Sonnen and a sports tabloid editor. The messages suggested Chael had been paid to keep the rumor cycle alive for weeks, dropping new hints every few days to maximize engagement. One line said, "Keep the LeBron topic burning. The controversy is paying off." Suddenly, the truth teller started looking like the puppet master. Fans who had supported Chael started turning on him, accusing him of clout chasing. But the damage was done. By then, the idea that LeBron might have cheated wasn't just a rumor. It was a cultural belief. Every YouTube thumbnail, every TikTok montage, every meme had already rewritten history. And deep down, everyone knew, even if proof never surfaced, LeBron's image would never be the same again. Then came the ultimate twist. An anonymous hacker group posted what they claimed was a lab test confirmation video, showing blurred footage of technicians handling vials labeled Kenji 23. The clip was grainy, possibly fake, but the voice in the background saying, "This can't get out. This one's protected," sounded too authentic. That video broke the internet. It hit 50 million views in 24 hours. Twitter was flooded with one line, "This one's protected." It became the biggest meme, the biggest conspiracy, the biggest sports story of the decade. Meanwhile, LeBron returned to Instagram with a single post, a black background with white text. "They can't destroy what they didn't build." No caption, no tags, just that. Within minutes, 10 million likes. Half the comments said, "King forever." The other half said, "Guilty." And somewhere, Chael Sonnen went live again, smirking as usual, saying, "I told you all. Some kings build empires. Others build labs." That line broke YouTube. Behind the scenes, though, insiders whispered that the league was quietly phasing out the term king in marketing materials. Brands began to distance themselves subtly, less emphasis on longevity, more on team legacy. Nike postponed a campaign. ESPN replaced an upcoming LeBron doc with NBA legends collective excellence. Publicly, the NBA released a final statement. There is no verified evidence of any violation by LeBron James. The league considers this matter closed. But everyone knew nothing was closed. Not really, because once a story like this takes root online, it never dies. It just mutates. Months later, a journalist who'd been covering the story posted a chilling tweet. Funny how everyone who talked about Project King suddenly stopped answering emails. And that was it. Silence. No follow-up. No retractions. No justice. Just whispers. Because in this world, truth doesn't need to be proven, only believed. And whether you believe it or not, the legacy of LeBron James will never look the same again. They say legends never die, but some do get exposed. So now, the question that's burning through every comment section in the world, was this just another internet rumor gone viral or the biggest cover-up in sports history? Because whether you think LeBron James is a victim of online chaos or a mastermind who played the system perfectly, one thing for sure, this story has changed everything. The silence from the NBA, the deleted posts, the sudden technical errors. Whenever someone mentions Project King, you can call it coincidence or you can call it control. But the truth doesn't vanish. It lingers. It seeps through every denial, every polished PR statement, every perfectly timed photo of LeBron smiling courtside like nothing ever happened. Fans are divided. The league is nervous. And even Chael Sonnen, the man who started it all, has gone quiet. Maybe they warned him. Maybe he said too much. Or maybe this was all part of a bigger play we were never supposed to see. So tell me, what do you believe? Did Chael really uncover the truth? Or did someone feed him just enough to distract us from what's really happening behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your theories, your receipts, your wildest takes. Because this isn't just gossip anymore. This is history being rewritten in real time. And if you think this story's over, it's not even close. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and stay locked in, because the next leak, it's already in motion. This is Spill News, where secrets explode before your eyes. And remember, this story isn't ending, it's just beginning.